Hello, my name is Deshaun. I'm a freshman and I attend CSU Pueblo. I am part of the basketball team. And today I'll be talking to you about dealing with the pandemic as a student athlete. So imagine tailgates, Friday night lights, and crowds of cheering fans are no longer the reality of college sports in 2020. Many stadiums, arenas, and other platforms will go empty with the athletes that once occupied them facing the impacts of this devastating change. So, more details on athletes, for example. Athletes depend on their energy from the cheering crowds and everything like that. So, when they don't get that, their performance is at a lower level. Fans having to only see their favorite teams playing online or on live, live game, it's just a struggle. So, now, as we talk about this, we're explaining COVID. COVID, also known as the coronavirus, is a virus that has spread worldwide in this year of 2020, greatly affecting the United States, causing many businesses and workplaces to close, leaving workers stranded and jobless. But for student athletes, places such as training facilities and gyms being shut down is a real struggle. Now, I have a guest today. His name is Micah Lambert, and today we're going to be talking about what it's like dealing with the pandemic as a student athlete and just all around his life dealing with it as a student. So here's Micah. So Micah, if you give us a good estimate of what's going on with your life with the pandemic and being a student athlete, how's it been?
Well, Deshaun, the pandemic has kind of affected my life, not as bad as it could be. Basketball, I also play basketball at CSU Pueblo, and during the summer, it was definitely a struggle to try and get into the gym because a lot of it was shut down. And going back to the crowds, my high school team was going to the Final Four in the state finals, and it got shut down because of COVID.
Oof.
So that was a big that hurt a lot. So yeah, I mean it's affected me, but I guess all you can do is just keep moving on. So
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Now, if we're going to talk about your gyms being closed and training facilities and all that, how many hours do you usually spend on training?
So before I got to college, I had a personal trainer, and I'd go to him like once a week for a couple hours, and then I'd get my own work in by myself. And then as soon as we got to college, we have practice every day for like 2.5 hours, and then we get like one day off. So and then with the new COVID deals, we have to split into groups, and and it's only like an hour long practice instead of 2 hours. And so COVID has definitely taken away some of that time that we could use to get better. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So you're saying like it takes a lot of time being a student athlete, also an athlete. You have to put a lot of work in, right?
Yes.
And a lot of times being taken away because of COVID.
Yes.
Now, how does this hurt student athletes in the long run?
In my opinion, I think that with them not being able to practice as much as they need to or want to, that would definitely hurt them in the long run because they're not getting that practice that they need, obviously. And you'll be going for 2 weeks really strong and stuff, and then somebody on the team will get COVID and they have to shut down for 2 weeks, and you kind of lose all the gains that you were having. And so basically in the long run, it just makes everything super choppy, and you can gain a lot of work and then you can lose it with the snap of a finger, just like that. So
Now, how about academics? How has COVID changed you with academics and everything like that?
well, going online obviously kind of sucked a little bit because I am an in-person learner and I'm a hands-on learner, and so going online was a little bit difficult. But
So things changed for you because since COVID started, instead of having classes in person, it moved to being online.
yeah, and that was a huge change for me. But like I said, you kind of just got to do what you got to do. So
How's homework?
it's pretty easy. I mean, online there's not really a certain due date necessarily, and so you have a little bit more time to work on your homework and stuff, and it's not as stressful. So
So you think it could be beneficial for you academically being home or being like in your own space doing homework at your own pace?
Yeah, I do think that is beneficial.
All right, so I have some data for you. From the New York Times, there are 252,000 cases recorded in November 5th within 1,600 colleges. Now, from Scott Carlson, a senior writer at the Chronicle of Higher Education, he estimated about 20% of American colleges or universities are offering primarily in-person classes, while 16% are offering in-person online experiences. Many others are completely virtual. Now, what do you think is best for overall students?
I think the best thing for overall, for the health and wellness of students, is to try and get them back into the classroom as fast as possible, but also having restrictions and stuff because of COVID. But, or I think that we keep going online, and then everybody kind of just has to be really lenient with each other and have forgiveness and have grace and mercy and stuff, because this is completely new to everybody. So
yeah, definitely. Okay. Now, since COVID hit, there's definitely been a little hurt in the school budgets, considering they can't get the same amount of crowds and tickets sold for fans for those schools. Now, budgets of athletic departments taking a hit. What's your knowledge on your school, CSU Pueblo, taking a hit on their budget so far?
That's been a huge thing. When I first signed, we had a coach who I'll keep private, but we had one coach, and then as soon as COVID hit, we had to let him go because of the funding, and so there's not a lot of money going around right now, and that's hurting the school, that's hurting the student athletes, that's hurting the students, because they're not getting their good facilities that they need, and so yeah.
So you're saying due to the COVID hitting and the budget effects, you lost one of your coaches?
Yes.
And that was a layoff?
Yes.
Because of it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So schools such as Stanford and Iowa are having to discontinue many sports. Are you experiencing that with your school?
Yeah, I guess. My brother is also here at the school, and he is on the track team, and they had to cancel all track and cross country this year. And then obviously if somebody tests positive on a team, they have to shut down for 2 weeks. So yes, there's a little bit of experience.
Has sports been postponed, or certain sports picked over other sports to stay?
Yeah, I don't know about picked over others, but some sports have been postponed to see if we can wait it out and start again in January. But yeah.
So there's been a thing going on with schools where they prioritize certain sports that bring in more revenue than others, such as football and basketball. So they keep those sports going, but many other sports, such as tennis, for high Division I schools, have to be cut off.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I think that's kind of smart, because if you're spending more money than you're gaining, that's obviously not a good thing, and tennis probably isn't bringing in as much revenue as football or basketball, so trying to keep those bigger sports that bring in the most money running is a smart idea, in my opinion. It sucks for everybody else that doesn't play those sports, but you got to do what you got to do.
All right. Now, so you're saying you're continuing doing basketball right now, right? Throughout all this COVID stuff, it's kind of a struggle. What's that like for you?
Obviously it sucks, but I mean, I'm still happy where I'm at.
Yeah,
and,
how are practices though?
Yeah, practices are okay. I mean, they get cut short a little bit.
What's the difference from before?
We have to wear masks now, and we have to stay socially distanced sometimes, and everybody's all worried about touching each other.
Basketball being a very physical sport, it's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. What are games looking like so far? Have you had any yet?
No, we haven't had any games yet. We were supposed to have some games in November, and then a couple of our teammates tested positive, and then we got shut down for 2 weeks. And so our first game will probably have no fans, and everybody will probably have to continue to wear masks and stuff.
So could you say that the COVID pandemic with your academics has affected you more negatively or positively?
With my academics, it kind of actually helped me a little bit. I mean, yeah, I like being in the classroom and learning, but being online has definitely had added a little less stress in my life.
Definitely.
And the homework load, I can take that in strides instead of having like a very specific due date for like everything. And so
Yeah. How about athletically though?
athletically is definitely more negatively affected me.
Yeah, so a lot of these things being postponed and everything. What about the fact that the NCAA just announced that you will still be able to have another season because of this COVID season? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. That kind of goes back to what I was talking about, that everybody just has to be merciful and lenient in these times because this is the first rodeo for everybody. And so I think that that's a great idea to give everybody their season back.
What's your college life so far, considering you are on campus?
Yeah, it's definitely not what I was thinking it was going to be, but it's not that bad. I enjoy a smaller campus, kind of, and so yeah. I mean, it's been pretty good.
Do you still get to see any of your friends on campus aside from your teammates?
Well, I mean, since I'm a freshman, I just moved down here. I haven't made a ton of friends besides my teammates, but I'm sure that if I did, then yeah, I probably would see them around.
All right, awesome. I appreciate you coming on our podcast and
Yes,
telling us about your experiences. We'll see you later, Micah.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. So, my self-interest with this topic is as myself being a college athlete playing basketball, the topic of how student athletes are dealing with COVID is a big issue to me. Dealing with this issue firsthand, I see many others like me going through the same struggles, such as practice facilities being closed, games being canceled, and just not being able to play. I think it's important to acknowledge what's going on and what these student athletes are going through and how they are persevering through the obstacles and cancellations, because we can only become better people if we know how to overcome these obstacles. My name is Deshaun Cooper, and this was how athletes are dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day.